Welcome to At Issue. I'm H. Wayne Wilson. The shootings down in Parkland, Florida have once again turned the focus of America onto school safety. We'll have a discussion of what 3 local districts are doing in response to that, and we'll start that conversation with Dr. Sharon Desmoulins-Carrat, who is the superintendent for Peoria Public Schools. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Also with us from Farmington Central School District is Zach Chatterton. He is the superintendent there. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And from Unit 5 in Normal and McLean County, Mark Daniel is the superintendent there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I suppose the first question is, what was your initial thought when you heard yet again we had a shooting in America in a school?
Heart-wrenching. It was heartbreaking. I was sad and disappointed and speechless.
Zach?
All those same things. I'll add, though, that you just know that those lives are forever changed, and they'll never be able to go back to a traditional school setting where they can just focus on learning ever again.
And for you, Mark?
So when something of this nature happens, my mind goes back to Columbine. And it seems, again, all the things stated, but it's a cycle that we are continuing to see, and it needs to end.
We're going to talk about some of the decisions that are going to be made in the future that might help end this, and that will be a long-term process, I'm sure. But was there, you've got 1,400 students. Did you think, okay, there's 14 kids and 3 staff down in Parkland? It might have been kids I know if it had happened in Farmington?
Yes, I mean, all people that work in a school, it becomes very personal because you start thinking about your own procedures, your own learning environment and such. And in Farmington, we're very fortunate to have everyone on a single campus. All kids, all employees are on a single campus. But at the same time, when you think about crisis planning and threats of safety and violence, it gets you even more concerned because it's a double-edged sword. At the same time, everyone's susceptible, everyone's vulnerable, and everyone's impacted by anything that happens within our schools.
We're going to talk about some changes that might be made in the future, but first, just for a little bit of perspective, since, and we'll use Newtown, Connecticut as the reference point. Since Newtown, what kinds of changes have been made at Peoria Public Schools to enhance safety?
Yep, so first I must say that in 1971, Peoria Public Schools created a campus police department, and in like 2010 it was disbanded, and we have 26 officers, and each of the officers at the high schools are armed, so that's very good.
Those are police officers?
Those are police officers, and we believe we're ahead of the curve when it comes to safety for our students. And we have, when I got back, for example, in 2015, I heard a lot of comments about behavior. And when it came down to it, it was really about mental health and behavioral help and supports needed. And so we opened up, we've talked about the Department of Office, Social and Emotional Office that Derek Booth is running. There's quite a bit of work being done there. Our officers, our campus safety officers, they're doing a lot of intervention work. So when there are complaints and our doors in terms of Peoria Public Schools, when you walk in, you have to badge in. You're routed directly into the office. So there's one entrance, and again, more supports. We have over 30 counselors, about 14 psychologists, and over 25 social workers. So we're really investing a lot. We're talking about wraparound centers. So we're doing a lot because we realize it's more than, it's a community thing, and that mental health, that behavioral health is well needed, and it's more than just Peoria Public Schools. The community needs to be involved with that.
And I want to talk more about that in depth as we go into the program. And just for your purposes, the reference to when I came back, Sharon had been the principal at Whittier School in Peoria, then went to Springfield, then Danville, and then came back as superintendent 3 years ago. So since, and Newtown was in 2012, what kind of changes did Farmington go through in the intervening years?
I haven't been there long enough
Yeah,
since
you're
2012, but
You're 1 year into
Yeah.
as superintendent, but
I can say that there's been progressive measures made each year, whether it be, vestibule to track people into the single entry points and things like that. I do know that there's camera upgrade system that continuously is on a cycle basis within the district, that they know where additional cameras will be added and upgraded this year, next year, the following year, tentative plans. Most recently, they did add, just this year, Farmington has added, I say they because it was being installed when I came on board, the Raptor system that just does a single scan point for everyone that's entering the building, that has a image identifying visitor tag that's time stamped, so that everyone runs through a quick background check in the Raptor system and is identified and has a visual cue. So there's all those measures that have continued to go on in Farmington and will continue to do, just like all other school districts.
And at Unit 5?
Well, because we had a shooting incident a little over 5 years ago, many things that you've heard are also being implemented. I'll say there's something that we haven't talked about, and that's the restorative practice piece. As I look at what's happening, you're talking about students that have been disconnected from their schools, i.e. expelled. With the restorative practice, that was Senate Bill 100 that was passed last year, we're working more and more with our students, not eliminating them from our schools, but how do we retain them and continue to deal with their social emotional or whatever behavior there might have been that caused their inappropriateness. And I think that's important. That's different than where we were, say, 4 years ago, which was we had many expulsions. Now, I believe, the last 2 years we've had one. So that's a shift for us. But again, that's dealing, to me, in my opinion, with the root of an issue. But all of us are involved in reactive things and trying to do preventive things. And for instance, April 6th, there will be a simulation of a shooter incident in one of our high schools. It actually will be at University High School, but we'll be all involved in reunification process. But again, those are preparing for the worst, and hopefully we're going to be talking about what do we need to do so we don't have to experience these things.
Yeah, and since those shootings, I would say more collaboration also with like probation and DCFS and all of those other agencies. We're working very, the police department, they have access to our plans, they have access to our schools. It's a lot more good collaboration. Our community also voted the county facility sales tax, and a huge chunk of that went to safety in terms of the cameras, upgrading those, the PA systems. So we feel really good about the work that we're doing, and it's not just because of what happened at Parkland. It's just
Right.
because that's our number one responsibility is really to make sure that the kids are in a safe environment.
I'll piggyback on that just for it did dawn on me that the reciprocating agreements that are present in Farmington are phenomenal. From, I mean, the nursing homes, they practice their secondary evacuation drills, and there's no need to get into details about those type of plans that are in place, but it is nice to know that everyone's on the same page in all communities, that yes, we're more than willing to help and be of any assistance we can be. So there's a lot of reciprocating agreements and a lot of conversations, and that's nice.
That's important, both those points. If we didn't have the collaboration with our local agencies, both police departments in Bloomington and Normal, they're being able to access all of our video instantly. So it's very live. It is live. That probably wasn't there 5 years ago. But again, you're seeing, and I sat down with an officer last week, and the discussion was, how do we create a student resource officer that is not seen as an intimidator, not seen as a person who's there to enforce rules, but a person who's there to, how are you doing today? Let's monitor their behavior and where they are in their state, their emotional state, and work in that manner. That's very different.
It, and I'll admit, it goes back a few years when I was in school, but you mentioned, Sharon, that the number one priority is safety. And I'm sure when I was in school, safety was a concern, but the number one concern was teaching.
Right.
And it seems that teachers have to do so much today, and much of it is coordinate with the police and with the resource officers, et cetera, and with agencies throughout the community. Teachers are doing an awful lot more than they used to, it seems to me.
Yep. I agree, and actually, with our theme this year is more success, less stress, and I'm just on this mission to relieve the stress on teachers and assist them in focusing on the real work at hand. Thus, the idea of the wraparound centers that we talked about around, coordinated support with healthcare and with faith-based and with businesses to provide supports, intensive mental and behavioral supports for students and families in an environment that is, we talked before this started that, the counselors, our kids are assigned counseling sessions, they don't get to it. I got an email that just broke my heart last night, and it was a matter of a kid going back to JDC because he couldn't make his counseling sessions. They didn't have transportation, mother didn't do her parenting classes, and so I'm thinking, that wraparound center would have everything there, so we would remove that excuse from that discussion.
So explain to us the wraparound center. Is this going to be a separate location?
So there are two ideas, and we're working with the hospitals. Actually, we've written a grant with OSF, Tom Hamilton and his team at OSF, and because they have that trauma center, and so that one will be housed at Manual if funded. With the support of OSF and that community, 61605. Now, the other idea is another center to really serve district-wide all of the 26 buildings and just route kids to that specific location. And we can do that with our transportation department. And then there are at least 12 entities that have already signed up to say, yes, we will place staff there. We want to be part of this.
The reference to Tom Hamilton is he heads up the foundation for OSF.
Right.
So do you have a proposed location for the wraparound center?
We
outside of Manual.
Outside of Manual, we looked at Woodruff, we looked at Westminster Presbyterian. They came to us and said, hey, this is a beautiful site. They already have childcare there, they have a food pantry, and we're also looking at Garfield, which is one of the schools reopening Garfield. So there are three options.
This goes back to this is a community problem and mental health. And you have spoken many times about this needs to be a community effort and we need to be proactive. Mm-hmm. What do you envision?
Well, first of all, what Sharon said here, I'm amazed that they are already at that stage. And again, congratulations, and so appreciative of where you're heading and hopefully leading. The evidence-based model told us that there needs to be certain number of counselors, certain number of social workers, certain number of psychologists that are part of our staff. That formula, if I would examine our current staffing, we are woefully inadequate. So we are concentrating our thoughts on let's move into the mental health internally, because right now, externally, in our community, there are limited resources. Right. And so, as usual, we're seeing this as we have to take it upon ourselves to figure out how to better serve our kids and ultimately our families and our community. So, as you've mentioned here, yes, this is a community problem. Yes, we need to do a better job of identifying these students, and then we need to have specialists inside our schools that can actually work with those students and families, social workers that are going, not just talking with the student while they're in the school, but also visiting the families in their home and making that a wraparound service. So that's where we're heading in Unit 5, and we're going to be hiring many more individuals in those specific areas.
It seems to me that would put stress on the budget in terms
It absolutely will. We will not have a balanced budget because of this.
and you can't turn to the state.
And I don't know what you're going to be receiving, folks, but I
don't know.
maybe, we don't know, but maybe $400,000 more. Equate that to positions, but equate that to increasing costs, and it's not going to be, it's not sufficient.
And if we do have the funds, filling those positions will be extremely short. I know that in short supply because there's a shortage throughout education, and especially in those specialized services that we so desperately would like to make available for our kids. And I think that we've discussed prior to the cameras rolling, just in general, as far as in our communities, not only just in our schools, but in our community alone, those services that our kids and adults, parents, desperately need are in short supply.
That brings me to the thought that maybe politicians should be involved in this whole process because they're the ones who could at least help financially, if nothing else.
Yeah, I agree. They're the ones who could do things about the age limit and the bump stock and the background checks and the assault rifles and those sorts of things. We're very, very limited with everything that we're doing and talking about is somewhat reactionary, but they could really help us by some change in legislation.
Might as well ask the question, would your district be receptive to allowing teachers to carry some sort of weapon?
I would not recommend it to my board. I personally would not even feel comfortable carrying a weapon, so that would not be a recommendation that I would ever recommend to the Board of Education of Peoria Public Schools.
And Mark, at Unit 5, would you recommend in any way?
Absolutely not. I think that's for the professional, and that's why we have our student resource officers and our strong relationships with our local police authorities.
And your student resource officers carry weapons?
They do.
And in Peoria Public Schools, they do not?
We have, as I said, 26, and 3 of them are officers from the police department. So the high schools, the 3 at the high schools. The other ones act as social workers and building relationship with kids. So we would like them to be recertified. We're working on that.
Zach, you're in a more rural setting. Would you recommend weapons for your teachers?
No, I do not want the teachers carrying guns into the classroom. I will talk a little bit about the school resource officer situation. It's amazing the relationships that an identifiable uniform officer that's carrying a weapon, the relationships that they can create with kids. Unfortunately, our school resource officer had an opportunity professionally during the course of the year this year that to move on to another position. And to hear the kids that were upset to see him leave and knowing that he's had to make some tough decisions and, arrest kids and things like that before. And those kids were still sad to see him go, and they're welcoming of the new person. That's been huge for our school as far as just the kids and the staff and a little bit of sense of security having that person there, that position there. And it's a different role that they have because they have to be able to establish relationships and interact with kids just like any other adult in the building. And we've been fortunate in Farmington to have a great working relationship with our city police department that ensures that a uniform officer will be present in our schools, and that's important.
I have a great, what we call him, police Chief Boone, Demario Boone, graduated from Peoria Public Schools, graduated from Manual, so he's the lead of these other 25 officers and just done a really, really nice job, and he's all about intervention. So far, they have every conversation or interaction they have with kids, it's tracked into the system, it's shared with the Office of Social Emotional, it's shared with the principals, the police department have access to it if necessary. So there's this open system where we can see a kid's track record from kindergarten all the way through, and Chief Boone was the one who really did that that software and that database, and it's really amazing. So kudos to him. Every building has a crisis plan, and what I asked him to do was to, as it's like 27 pages, I've asked him to sort of create it into one cheat sheet. So every school has, it's really cool what he did. And there's different scenarios for like active shooter. There's one page, it tells you what to do, bomb threat, evacuation, lockdown. If it's SEL situation, and it's laminated, and it's just amazing.
And the teachers are all, they have this?
Yes, as a result of what happened, we will laminate it and make sure they get it also.
So they know under this scenario, we do
Right.
this. Under this scenario, we do that.
Although it's very fluid, right, and situational, but it gives them an idea of, yes.
Again, a lot of training, a lot of
A lot of
time spent
training.
on this
Yes,
topic.
yes.
Again, you asked as far as state resources, I think this needs to go to the federal level, the national level. Truly, we're a country that is experiencing incidents that don't happen in other countries.
Right.
Therefore, I would say this is a national issue. We need national funding, just as we would in regards to the battlefields of where our soldiers are in other countries. We have a battlefield here in our own country, and those funds should flow there. And we need all experts at the table. Certainly mental health experts, but certainly educators, certainly lawmakers and law enforcement officers.
Just common sense legislation, and a compromise.
Teachers are trained to teach, but we've alluded to the fact that we've got wraparound centers that are planned and the kids need to be identified. So how does a teacher who doesn't have training in mental health issues, how does a teacher learn to identify a child and say, superintendent, this child needs a little extra help?
Yeah. We have a system, it's called multi-tiered systems of support. So our kids are categorized as green, yellow, red, and so they're trained in that. So you look at the discipline records, you look at what we call the ABCs, academics, behavior, course passing, and I mean, if they know.
And that kind of work, because we're talking about both academic and social emotional.
Right.
So we've created systems that address both of those sides of education now. Before, at least when I was in school, it was primarily
Yes.
academics, and very rarely did you have a student that wasn't truly engaged. Now they may have been shutting down just with a glassy eye, but very rarely did you have what I would say inappropriate behavior that was disruptive to. We now have that every day in our classrooms. Our teachers are having to face that. So then we create these models where we call it CARES teams. CARES teams go in, and that's with special ed, our specialists in special ed, that's with our psychologists, that's with, yes, our building principal. Those things are taking place. So I think we're doing amazing things, and we're now looking at software that's not just reporting the academic achievement of a student, we're now including social emotional. Now think about that for a second. Academics, social emotional behavior, all rolled into one that is being able to be communicated from teacher to teacher to teacher, including hopefully even our law enforcement.
Yeah, and there's a lot of need. I mean, there's a lot of need. A lot of students and families are in need of mental and behavioral intensive supports, tons of it.
Real briefly, in 30 seconds, Zach, this is a tough one, 30 seconds, but how do you reassure parents that you're doing everything possible to make sure the kids are safe at school?
I don't know if we'll ever be able to give them that level of reassurance that they want, but we do actively state that, you know, we share the successes that we've had, and we disclose when we're doing drills and, you know, how the students responded to it, and hopefully they can reinforce it there at the home that, you know, their child has a voice at school in order to keep all kids and all people safe as well.
And as you said before, Mark, it's the community that needs to come together to solve this problem. Thank you to Sharon Desmoulins-Carrat, the Superintendent of Peoria Public Schools, to Mark Daniel, the Superintendent of Unit 5 over in McLean County in Normal, and to Zach Chatterton, who is the Superintendent at Farmington Central Unit School District. Thank you all so much for the conversation, and we'll look forward to additional changes that need to be taking place, unfortunately. And we welcome you to join us next time on another edition of At Issue. Then we'll be talking about rural population decline. What do small counties do to maintain services when the population is dropping? Next time on At Issue.